Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. Today I saw some articles about Erykah Badu. She made some statements on Twitter, and those statements have generated a lot of talk. And I just want to talk about those tweets and talk about the response, and then just provide my brief analysis of the situation. So here are Erykah Badu's tweets. She said, "I agree, we are sexual beings. We should consider everyone. Young girls are attractive. Some males are distracted. I'm aware that we live in a sex I driven society. It is everyone's, male and female's, responsibility to protect young ladies. Aware and awake. Men and women go through cycles of arousal. Men automatically are attracted to women of childbearing age. But do I think it is unnatural for a heterosexual male to be attracted to a young woman in a revealing skirt? No, I think it is his nature. If I had a school, I would make sure that the uniform skirt length was a nice knee length. It is fair to everyone." So in response to that, people basically said that Erykah Badu is blaming the victim. She is basically placing the burden on young girls. She is basically holding them responsible for male reaction to them. She is holding them responsible for male harassment or male teachers molesting these kids. So she's been under fire for this. And so in response, she said that my thoughts about the male species or the men in our society were purely biological and not meant to justify or accuse. And then she talked about modesty. She said, "Can we not be modest without feeling suppressed? How can we teach our daughters freedom without teaching them sacredness?" So here's what I want to say about this. First of all, I don't think that a woman deserves to be harassed, or a girl or anyone deserves to be harassed and abused based on how they're dressed. No man should be harassing a student in his class, an underage student. They should be safe to learn in that environment without being harassed and molested by some man, regardless of how the girl is dressed. Obviously, most schools have some kind of dress code so that people aren't dressing in an indecent kind of way, or, very revealing type of way. But regardless of how a woman is dressed, she should not be abused. She should not be harassed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm with that. I understand that, that's the position that I take. And from what I read in Erykah Badu's response, she's saying, well, I'm not blaming the victim. I'm not justifying any male actions or anything like that. She's just talking about the biological desires that people have, or the feelings or arousal that people may have. You know, we live in a society where anything basically goes right now. When people call for decency, when people call for modesty, when people call for women and men to dress in a respectable kind of manner, all of a sudden that person that calls for decency is condemned. That person is condemned for so-called slut shaming and all that kind of stuff. Because we live in an immoral society. When you try to espouse like righteous conduct, you're viewed as an oddball. You're viewed as some kind of strange person or something like that. When the fact of the matter is, this term slut shaming, it's just become like a license for people to do whatever. It's become a license for indecency. It's become a license for promiscuity. It's become a license for people to walk around like half naked and stuff. And then they want to shame people for calling them to decency, for calling them to civilization and civilized conduct. And I just think something is wrong with that. I mean, this society is falling apart because there are no checks and balances. You have all these problems, like, these problems of kids being born out of wedlock. You have all these problems of, teenage pregnancy and other problems in our society. The destruction of the family structure. And you just have shamelessness, complete shamelessness, where people feel like their importance is based on how much attention they get from society. And they get this attention by parading around half naked. They don't have any decency about themselves. They don't have any respect for themselves. They don't have any pride in themselves. And when you call them to civilization, when you say, well, dress in a decent manner, don't dress modestly. Stop parading around with all your goods showing to the world. When you speak out like that, something's wrong with you. And I think that that's wrong. A woman who has pride in herself and self-respect and dignity, a woman who is of royal nature, doesn't have to parade around half naked. That kind of righteous woman who dressed in a modest fashion, she wants the man to be attracted to her personality, to her mind, to her character, instead of just staring her down like she's a piece of flesh. Some of these women, they dress all provocative, and then they're all shocked and surprised that somebody is staring at them. They act like they're shocked and surprised. Again, I don't think a man has any right to abuse a woman based on how she's dressed. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to get a lot of negative attention by dressing a certain way. I mean, if someone's wearing a blouse that's very low cut, where you can see all their breasts and all that kind of stuff, they shouldn't be shocked and amazed that when a man is having some conversation with them, instead of looking in their eyes, he's looking at their breasts. Some woman with some high skirt, some mini skirt up to her crotch, sitting down, in front of a man, shouldn't be surprised that a man is looking at her legs. I mean, we have a biological drive. And, I just think that women should carry themselves in a respectable kind of way. Not reveal everything. Leave something to the imagination. Ideally, the body should be sacred. It shouldn't be something that's paraded around for the whole world to see. It should be so sacred and so precious that it's treated with respect. So I just want to say that, I think that a lot of this stuff is overblown because Erykah Badu has made it clear that she's not condoning men harassing girls or anything like that. She's not condoning abuse of girls. She's not saying that because of the way a girl is dressed, then she's inviting, abuse upon her. So those are just my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.